Hello, denizens of the Sunlight Realm. Salotl here, back at it again with another speed draw. And this time, I have a special guest.
Yeah, hello. I wandered into the booth. Hello.
You best have come prepared with your own speed draw, otherwise I'm not going to let
I
you record with me.
I happen to have a bag of speed draws that I keep handy.
Acceptable.
Hello. It's beans.
It's beans!
The confetti is pouring out of my pockets.
Yes.
What are we doing today, Yumi?
We are going anime.
Wow. We've been sucked into the Digiverse. Is that a thing? I never watched Digimon.
it sounds like it could be a thing. I have also never watched Digimon.
Digimon.
Maybe one day.
The anime's got us. We've been infected,
Yes.
and the only solution was to draw.
Yes. We had to draw ourselves as anime, or ourselves and each other.
Right, yeah, because we both got sucked in together.
Yeah. I have mine pulled up and ready to go. So I guess I'll go first.
What
And
did you draw?
I decided to go with an anime called The World Ends With You, the animation.
The
Uh,
animation specifically?
the animation specifically. I stretched it a little bit because it's actually the video game that's my favorite. The anime was very
Ah,
good,
so you
but
just did like an adaptation?
yeah, and I did the anime style specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I,
I
poses.
see you struggling with poses here.
I struggled so hard.
I saw you read
Yeah, yeah, that was. I was feeling very sick when I started this,
Yeah.
and it's a miracle that I was able to even get Salotl down with the idea that I
Mm-hmm.
had. This is actually the next day. I did it over several days. Um,
Ah, a wise feat. I
and
did mine in one day.
yeah, it went much better the second day. um, but basically, my original concept was the two of us as a Reaper duo. Um, I ended up dropping the Reaper part of it and just having us be like partners in the game, which essentially the characters in the game have a designated partner that they have to survive the week with. And since there's two of us, it was kind of a no brainer. Um, the pose sketching, while I struggled with it, was not the longest.
Hardest part?
Was not the yeah, was not the hardest part. Um, the style of The World Ends With You is actually incredibly angular and sharp, and that is not my usual style at all. And it's also very fine and detail. Just the line
There's a
art.
lot of detail.
Yeah, like
I have
it's a
seen
smooth. It's smooth and sharp, and I tend to draw a little bit messier.
Mhm.
But I wanted a dynamic pose with the two of us kind of like fighting the
Yeah,
same enemy.
looking all badass.
Yeah, and uh, oh gosh,
Now,
um,
I haven't seen any TWEWY? Is
TWEWY.
that
Yeah.
TWEWY? I haven't seen any of it, but I know you talk about it a lot with
Yeah.
some of my other friends.
Yes.
And it has a very interesting style, that's for sure. I see the old draw and grab the hand trick.
Just wait. Just wait. It gets. I go through several stages of sketch for
Yeah.
this drawing, um, and I referenced. I had all my references pulled up in another screen, and I was like switching between them. And anytime you see like an extended pause, I'm probably pulling up another reference to use.
Yeah.
Um, Beans' hair is actually the closest. I could reference to Joshua. So
Oh, they have a similar hairstyle?
similar hair texture, at least. Um,
Ah.
that kind of wavy, shortish texture.
Yeah. The wavy shortish, only ever see it in anime, not in real life hairstyle.
Yeah. Um, Beans' regular jacket is a lot heavier usually, but most of the style in the game and anime have both very um, street style clothes. It's
Ah.
um, but it's also a lot lighter. A lot of times they have shorter sleeves or shoulder cutouts. um, so I gave you a lighter jacket. I wanted to keep most of the aesthetic because, like, honestly, Beans is very well and very modernly dressed, so it fits the
Thank you.
yeah.
I did a
Um,
lot of work.
oh, it's the time for the cursed futzing
Ah,
around for hours.
with how does crotch work?
How does crotch work?
God,
Um,
it doesn't matter, male, female, or not, whatever it is, how does crotch work? Always is
yeah,
the struggle.
yeah, and it, at some point, every time I start to deal with it, I give up and move on to something else. um, the other, I guess, big change I did with Beans' outfit was a lot of the TWEWY characters' style have like very large shoes. Um, they get a little bit clownish, but like if you look at Neku's shoes, like what are you wearing, my guy? so I ended up deciding I didn't want to draw it twice, so I just
I've done that before, definitely. I have actually once stolen a shoe from a completely different work of art because I had drawn the shoe before and just put it on a new one.
I cannot. I
Shoes are
can,
hard,
yeah, they
and
really
so are
are.
crotches.
Um, I finally just this shape of hand I actually pulled from one of the anime posters for it. Um, and I used the a thick brush to like block out the general silhouette of the
That's
hand,
smart.
and it actually worked pretty well, I think. Um, uh, Not that this is remotely close to. It looks about inked now, right? No,
Yeah.
it's not inked. This is another sketch layer.
I've definitely been there with like multiple sketch layers or like you accidentally over refine it and you're like, "No, where was it good? Where did I go wrong?"
Yeah. Oh, but uh, the
So,
hands.
did you
Huh?
No, you go ahead.
Oh, just the hands gave me a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
And at one point, I think I just. What were you saying?
Oh, I was going to say, did you have like any ideas like going into this when you first thought of it? Or like, did you have any moment where like, oh, I might just do a different anime entirely?
I. By the time that would have been an actual concern, I had already sunk like 6 hours into this. So I wasn't going to stop and find something else at that
That's
point.
fair.
Um, One thing I'm kind of sad about is that I made those sketches originally to like figure out the characters' outfits, and I don't know if I actually kept any of the things that I changed
Yeah.
um, on Salotl's outfit.
Mm.
Because originally I was going to have the zipper drop further down because a lot of the characters in that show have. A lot of the flat
Wild
chested
clothes?
characters have, like, unbelievable cleavage, and they don't even have any tits to spill out of the cleavage.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not. One of the iconic pictures of Joshua is like his whole tits out, but like he doesn't have them.
So everybody has titty. I see.
But like the girls are all fairly like covered up.
That's
It's
wonderful,
great.
actually.
It's amazing. Um,
There's
Oh,
a lot of dynamic poses with like these hands reaching forward.
yeah. I ended up pulling back a little bit, and at this point in time, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do like they're. I was still planning on doing it as Reapers, and like
Hmm.
maybe like haha, we're fighting the players or whatever. Because the Reapers are the one behind the game. That expression did not work out. So I tried, um, but I ended up going with something a little bit more desperate feeling. And I also didn't want to have to draw the wings um, and
Of
fit it.
Reapers.
Yeah, and try to fit those into the composition because it wouldn't have. It, it would have been a bit too much.
Yeah.
um,
I definitely did not do what you did. I did too much.
um, one of the things I did with the eyes of Beans is that uh, when Beans is like demon form or whatever species Beans is, um, you have kind of like cat-like eyes with deep in like I don't know what those part of your eyes are called. The inside of your eyes kind of goes down.
Yeah.
I tried to channel that a little bit into the style of the eye. Um,
Yeah, like deep creases of your eyes, like the corner.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
tried to
you
pull
did
little
a
things
good
like
job with
that.
it.
um,
I do that with like a lot of drawing. It's just like, oh, I like drawing the inner crease of the eye a lot.
yeah.
So you'll see in like a lot of my art pieces, I will just, if the character doesn't have one already, I'll be like, I'm doing it in my style anyway. Let's give him an inner corner and that crease.
Yeah. And I don't know if you noticed, I used a braid brush that I have to get the like
Yeah, you're
outline for the
using
braid.
Clip Studio, right?
Yes, yes,
Ah, those brushes are so useful.
they really are. And I don't know if that one came default or if I downloaded it at some point. Um, but
See,
it.
perspective. It got you.
Oh my god, I straight up give up on this. I like went to my art server that I'm in and was like, help.
Help
and,
make this arm make sense.
and finally, I just gave up and started inking Salotl. Because I actually liked how Salotl's arm was.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
perspective is hard.
it's so hard. Um, Now, I don't have teeth in this quite, but there are characters in that show who do have teeth. So I gave a little
Like
bit of teeth.
hint of teeth.
Yeah. Um, and the inking here is where it really started taking a long time because the
Yeah, that's
inks
like
go
dramatic shadow in the ink, huh?
yeah, the inks go into the shadow. So I had to figure out the lighting kind of at this stage too. And all of the lines like I eventually get into kind of a rhythm with it and it starts to go a little faster. But when I was first trying to figure out what I was doing, oh, there I accidentally drew quite a bit without recording. Because I was doing this in several sessions at a time. Uh, but because the places where the lines intersect, it's very smooth and then it's sharp, and then
Yeah.
it has just different weights for different like materials or different um, how dark the shadows are, how and well, I was working a lot of times at like 500% zoom just to get it
Yeah.
manageable. um, and having to redraw the lines several times to get it right where I wanted it to be. Um,
Yeah, this is like some crazy line art, honestly.
I, I'm really pleased with how it came out.
It does look good. Like, it's very evocative of like I could see this as being like TWEWY. Like it makes me think of it
Mhm.
just with like the line art alone what you have. So, I mean, you got that.
Oh, thank you. I'm just
Yeah.
glad it shows because I really spent a while on like making sure it was there. Here's where I actually started getting the flow of it down, and you'll notice I'll
Yeah.
start to like draw a line beyond where I'm trying to draw it to, and then just
Yeah.
crisscross, crisscross, and then erase what I don't need.
Yeah.
Um, and
It's very useful, like drawing further than you need because then you get like the flow of it.
yeah, and I don't have to worry about um, making that intersection work because I just erase to where it needs to be.
Yeah, I do something similar with like line art in my pieces. It's just like I just draw further than I need, but it looks good enough as like where it needs to stop.
Yeah. Um,
This is like a very dynamic line art style. So like kudos to you for trying something this difficult.
Thank you. There's actually been a few times in the past where I've tried to emulate this style,
Yeah.
or even one of my first big pieces as like a kid was I took the cover art of the game, scanned it onto an 8.5 by 11, and then gridded it out, and then copied
Hmm.
that onto an 11 by 18 or whatever that size is close to it. Um, and doing that actually made me realize how exaggerated the style of this game was, because there were times where I'd be like, okay, this should take up 2 squares, and I'm like, oh, your waist fits entirely into 1 square. Now, fortunately, the anime is not quite that exaggerated, so it's a little bit more realistic, but it was still. I also, when I draw bigger pieces like this, I tend to go with the more realistic body shape type scale um, proportions and stuff. And I had to
Yeah.
fight myself on that a little bit with this to try to get it to actually match the style of the anime.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
it,
I struggle with that as well. Anytime something is like weirdly proportioned, like I
mm-hmm.
don't know how else to describe. I'm just like, oh, I hate this. Oh, this isn't how it should go.
Yeah, yeah, because like I do tend to draw heads bigger than they are in proportion to real life people, but it is a bigger difference in TWEWY than it is in my own art,
Yeah.
because their heads are about as wide as their waists um,
Oh, yikes.
for some of the characters. And like in the game art, it's like their heads are twice the size of their waists because they'll have hourglass shit. I love the style. It's gorgeous.
But when you start thinking about it, you go, oh no.
Yeah, I'm just like, what in the heck? That there was I had a layer that was just a white layer to so that I could see
Yeah.
what the line art looked like on top of each other, and I started
Mhm.
inking on that layer, so I had
Oh
to undo
no.
it. Uh, but
Yeah, I see you sticking up the lines.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes there were times where I got into just kind of a flow to just get the lines down, and I had to go back and like put them where I felt like they actually should be.
Yeah.
Um,
I
and
mean, you did pretty good so far, it seems, on the crotch situation, so it's not it doesn't look like Beans has lumpy crotch syndrome, so I think you did good.
yes, I'm glad.
Mm.
Because sped up this much, you can't tell how much time I spent on it, but it was dire.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
um, so I almost had half of mine just like, okay, I'm finding good stat clothes, and you're wearing a disaster outfit that you put together in the game where you don't have full. Um,
You almost said fuck it, no pants.
fuck it, no pants. Ah, here come the clown shoes.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, Beans' shoes are already like big and chunky and platform, so like clown shoes isn't too far away.
yeah, and like I said, the style actually lends itself really well towards big shoes. And actually, that's part of the reason why I flared out the pant legs like I did,
Yeah.
so that it helped flow into that silhouette. Because like the characters who have not chunky shoes are like Shiki, um,
Hmm.
and she has knee high boots basically. So it doesn't flare out for her feet. I referenced hers pretty heavily on Salotl's shoes. But like when it comes to Josh, Beat, Neku has shorts on, but the other two have pants, and their pants flare out at the bottom to kind of flow into the shoes.
Blow into the clown shoe situation.
Yeah, and I think that's why Neku's actually looks even more clownish than the other two's because he has just his scrawny little chicken legs going into the. Um, I pretty much color picked from both of our
Yeah, I see
reference
you
page.
desaturated them slightly.
I did not.
Really?
Yeah, I did not. Um,
Weird.
I think Beans just looks super desaturated next to Salotl. Um,
Maybe.
and I also, because I don't have the pattern overlay on
Hmm.
Salotl, I don't have that part of it. Here's where I give up and start doing the background. This here, I was trying to like, okay, maybe I can evoke buildings in the background. I was like, no, that doesn't work. Um, um, I had taken a break from shading because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and finally I ended up finding a good reference where they actually used darker than usual shading because it was a fusion attack, which is what I'm doing here with the bubbles,
Yeah.
where they're kind of like focusing with each other and um, able to do something kind of cool. So I have the shading on like the face and stuff is from beneath, and then the rest of it's from above, just to kind of focus the light into that center area. Um,
Oh, so like a glow from like the chest height sort of scenario.
yeah, um, and most of the shading isn't this dark, but when it's dramatic like this, where the light's really close and it's intense, they actually do have some moments where it does get darker. Um, and I felt like that helped because I was trying to color match the regular shading and it didn't quite look right.
Yeah.
So, because like none of the characters have quite the same skin tone. Because a lot of them are pale as fuck. They're like either almost white pale or like Shomi Namimoto is darker skinned than Beans is. So,
Hmm.
um,
Yeah. Interesting fact for beans, I actually color picked my own my skin tone.
yeah, that makes sense.
So
Um,
like beans is tan and everything is like that's the color that my skin is.
um, more crotch messing.
More crotch shenanigans.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's crotch.
And here's where I add like a little gradient. It gets a little flashy here because I'm trying to decide on.
Messing around with gradients.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks cool.
I didn't want to go too detailed, and then here's where I stop. Oh, not quite yet. There's where I stop. Um, After this, I actually went in and added a background, which you'll see now. Or not a background, a border. And
Ah.
then I also forgot Slottle's freckles. I add those in post too. But yeah,
I
this
like
is
this.
the.
It's very cute. I like it a lot.
Oh, I can't wait to see what you came up with.
So the first one that I did was like we're showing it on both of our characters. I chose the style of D Gray Man, my favorite anime, specifically the rebooted anime D Gray Man Hollow. That's the style I went with.
Yeah,
And I do the first drawing and I liked it, but then I kept thinking about it and I was just like, you know what? No, I have to do another drawing.
you just
So
couldn't leave it.
I couldn't leave it. So the way that it went was I finished my first drawing. I talked to Hinami and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna work on my drawing then." And in the middle of them working on their drawing, I said, no, I can't. And I started working on this second one. So I drew Salotl as a exorcist from D. Greyman, with a little axolotl as their innocence type. So they're a master type innocence, like General Cloud 9 from the anime. So essentially, that means that Salotl has this little axolotl that, through the power of innocence, is able to turn into a giant monster and destroy Akuma.
I cannot wait to see a giant axolotl monster.
So that's what this is me deciding I need to draw the giant axolotl monster fighting Beans as a Noah with Akuma. And this, you will see immediately what I mean when I say this got away from me.
I
So,
am so excited.
3, 2, 1, go. So you see me immediately trying to figure out, like, oh, what would this
Ah,
look like? And then I immediately get it. I'm like, I know exactly what I'm doing. It's gonna be this dynamic pose of the axolotl
teeth.
as like the giant monster form, with like wrapped around Salotl the exorcist
That's so
human.
fucking cool.
And then across, it's going to be Beans with like a fleet of Akuma behind them. So that's what all those drawings are, is me like blocking out the space where a bunch of level 1 Akuma are, with like one up close. Sorry, there's a motorcycle driving by my house. Okay.
Okay.
Um So yeah, and then you see me immediately going in. I have the first one as reference for my color and everything.
Teeth.
This one took me about 9 hours to draw the whole thing. I did it in one sitting because I'm
Oh my
stupid.
god. I don't think I
But
spent more than 3 hours at a time.
yeah, my back hurts so much.
Oh man.
But yeah, here's me, and then I draw a
Titty out!
nipple, and then a horrible nipple that I erase as soon as I realize, no, I'm not giving Beans nipples. But yeah, I busted out this pose actually pretty fast. Like, I had this like scene in my mind as I was going to bed the night after I finished the first drawing.
Oh, those hands.
Thank you. I've been doing a lot of hand practice lately.
That's really good.
So yeah, and then I drew Slottle again, and like I tried to go for like more of a determined look.
Yeah.
And then there's me putting in the braid.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with the design of these characters. Like, although most of it is just like straight up outfits from D. Greyman, um, a lot of like D. Greyman style is very pleasing to me as well. Like, it's simple and it does the job in feeling. So like I had a very easy time with this style.
Yeah.
Um and yeah, you see me just adding everything, all the little design, trying to figure out where the hand would go. Struggling with that fist a little bit. Putting in the skirt and the legs. And then here's me trying to block
Yes.
out maybe lots of teeth, and then I'm like, well, maybe I'll draw the teeth this way. Actually, a lot of teeth. I just wrote down lots of teeth and then said I'll deal with it later. Gave the axolotl some hands so I know where that would be when I go to ink it, and the tail. And then here's where I decide to accurately draw a level 1 Akuma, and these things make no sense how they look. A majority of this, like a solid couple minutes, is just me drawing all of the Akuma. Because
Dude.
these things are like incredibly dramatic. They're supposed to be like the tortured souls of your loved ones being
Oh.
trapped
Oh, that's a
in
really smart way to do stuff.
yeah, that's how hacks, that's how I draw stars. I just do V's and then I repeat them over and over again. But yeah, like level of 1 Akumas, these are the simplest Akumas that I can draw. And they're still like whack as all get out. There's me just saying, I'm not gonna draw horns 4 more
That's
times, so I'm just
how
gonna
you do
steal
it.
them.
That is how you do it.
Yeah, that's how you do it. And then I decided to ink the Akuma first because I knew this would be like the hardest thing to ink. So I'm like, if I don't do this first, I'm not gonna want to ink anything else.
Yeah.
So there's me like trying to get it in, trying to get in all these textures, all these guns, so many guns. I decide to, after drawing this first cannon, to just kind of like steal it and then place it in all the other places that I need it to be.
Yeah.
So yep, there we go. Stealing the guns, moving it and like adapting it slightly to look at this different angles.
Hmm.
Because this is like essentially this is a floating hate orb of your dead departed.
It reminds me of those underwater mines.
It very much has that feeling because it's just spiky sides except guns this time.
Yeah, guns instead of pressure things that bonk and blow up.
Yeah, like Finding Nemo, those sort of things. And then yeah, I just steal one side. And then here's me drawing a bunch of tiny ones and actually getting to show this weird alchemy lock thing on the front of it. I don't know what it is, and they never explain what it is, but I'm like, what is this? As I was drawing it the entire time, I'm like, why do you look like this? But now, like, I could say without a doubt that I know how to draw a level 1 Akuma because I drew a bunch of them.
Oh my
And then there's me
gosh.
just stealing the guns again
Smart.
and redoing the lines to make sure that they're all thick on that scale
Yeah, yeah.
to look right.
Oh my
Putting in
god.
another gun because it needed
These
it.
things are so detailed.
Oh yeah, that's why I just go and steal it from like the other ones so that I have another complete one.
Yeah.
And like these things have a bunch of these weird cords, like ribbons coming from the bottom of it. You'll see me struggling for a bit, and then I figure out how I want to draw it. That's like coming from the bottom of them. And then I decide, actually, this isn't enough Akuma. I'm gonna add some more. And then I go straight into inking for the axolotl and decide
Drool.
right away, just like these teeth are too hard. I'm just gonna do teeth like this. They still look good,
Yeah.
and it has more of the feeling of the anime with it. Like you don't ever see anything with like really complex teeth
Hmm.
in it either. So I'm like, this still works.
I love how you got the volume down on this guy. Like
Oh yeah, like like the
he's a
cylindrical and how
chonky
big.
boy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's big and he's chunky. Gotta have those folds.
Yeah.
And then like I immediately go to the axolotl after the Akuma because I'm like, oh, there's me saying I need more Akuma and then moving them around slightly. Um and then yeah, straight into beans inking next because that was the next easiest ink to get done.
Hmm.
Um Struggling with the eye a little bit. I actually decided to do some like you see what I end up doing for the other eye is just drawing it all in black for some dramatic shading, like as well as like
Yeah.
under the eye right there. I've seen that in some of their promo arts before. This is where I stop and realize that I hadn't eaten all day and I go and eat.
Food is important.
Yeah, I went like 6 hours. I just woke up and immediately started drawing. But yeah, I decided to go for like more dramatic inking, and then here's me putting abs on beans because literally all of the Noah are just ripped as hell.
Yes.
They're just like hot, and they're supposed to be like the embodiments of like all the bad things about humanity.
Ah,
They're
yes,
like named
lust.
things like they're like embodiments of wrath, lust, sin, all that sort of stuff, except there's 13 of them. Well, technically 14,
Ooh,
but
nuisance dropped.
nuisance dropped. And there are things like Bond, Lustre, Bondo, like they all have really cool names as well. Like Joyd, Bondo, Lustre, all these I love all of the Noah. They're all really cool, but they all will kill you as they hate humanity. And then I immediately put color on bees just so that I could pick them out from the Akuma in the background.
Yeah, yeah.
And then going in to do the coloring for Salotl. Um, had pretty easy time actually with Salotl's pose as well. It wasn't too difficult. Just because like I've done a lot of practice where it's like twisting torso arms
Hmm.
stretch out like that. So this was easy. Also like the fabric that they have in the anime for their uniforms, their
Hmm.
exorcist uniforms, is like generally like pretty big and bulky, so I didn't have to worry about too many folds as well, which was nice, but also just like you could tell that was like animating hacks don't make the fabric bulky, so it's easier to draw.
Yeah.
And then there's me putting in some chains,
Oh my god.
adding some of the dramatic shading to Slottle as well. Put a
Hmm.
little bit behind the ear because I thought that looked good.
Yeah.
And then
The
drawing
dramatic
these.
shading does so much.
Dramatic shading is a lot of fun, especially when you do it in the inking stage.
Yeah.
And then I don't
Yeah.
know what these are in the anime, but like they always looked cool on it. So I'm like, so I have to add that to the uniform.
Oh, the little
The little
beads or something.
beads. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's me putting in the arm.
I like
And
how
I
you kept the hand
That's
sleeves.
actually in the
Really?
anime. Yeah, in their
That's
uniforms is they have a long sleeve sleeveless underneath their uniforms that goes
okay.
up into like a turtleneck kind of scenario.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't even have to change that because it was already like that.
That's funny.
Yeah, I realized that when I was drawing it, the finger pointing out on the inside, I was just like, oh yeah, Salotl already did have that. So there's me trying to block in the color for literally everything. The Akuma were like so small that I just got tired and was just like,
Uh,
fuck it, I'll just color it in myself.
what I usually do is I'll take the color picker and select everything outside the line art and then invert the selection, go on a new
I'm
layer, and
I'm using
photofill
Psy,
it.
so I don't have that option.
You don't. Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, but like, eh,
Yeah.
I it works out in the end. I do have
There's
to like
no
go back and
invert
fix it every once in a
selection
while.
tool.
No, I
Oh.
mean, if there is, I haven't found it. It's like not easily accessible. And then here's me just plopping down all the colors again.
Yes. Good colors.
Thank you. A lot of it I did just take straight from the anime as well, so that was easy. And the Akuma, God, there's like so much in this piece. I definitely went a little overboard with the amount of things in the background.
But it looks so cool.
So yeah, there's me just like filling in the colors all the way, making sure that's all colored in. I did
Yeah.
decide to change the chains to like gold because I don't know, I thought that looked cool and I've seen them do that in the anime a couple times.
Yeah.
And then this is just me cleaning up all of the line art, making sure all the colors are in the right places. So you'll just see a lot of going it around and cleaning up the edges.
Nice.
Um, so yeah, this is just it's a very big piece, so just coloring takes
Yeah.
a little while. I've never actually made a piece this big, so this was something fun and new for me as well.
Yeah. This like I was talking about it earlier. I think I think I spent 11 hours on it or somewhere around there. That's
Hmm.
the longest I've spent on a single like frame. Like I've
Yeah.
made a few comics before, but it's the longest I've spent on a single art piece since like pre-college
Yeah.
because I haven't had the time, energy, motivation.
To do so. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really nice to have a fire lit under my butt so I can actually,
Finish something like that.
yeah, and like, yeah. Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I
The
did like
texture.
blotchy sort of texture on the axolotl.
Yeah.
Kind of just do like some subtle highlights on it because there aren't really that many highlights, and then dropping down a shadow layer, like the entirety of it as well. There's the gem in the forehead, shading the teeth a little bit. And then I do go and like decide like, oh, this spit, I kind of want to give it like a different line art, and I do go back and change that line art to like yeah, that
Yeah.
kind of grayish greenish white, just so that it looks more like slobber.
Yeah, that's really good.
And then I add a little bit of blush the cheeks and shade the hair a bit. I did it a little bit more dramatically in this piece than I did in the other like character design sort of one.
It's a more dramatic piece, so that makes sense.
Yee.
Good decision.
Yee. And then I do a lot more shading in this one as well, like a lot more folds in the fabric.
Yeah.
Just trying to like really I increase the drama. That's what I'm doing. I'm increasing the drama and like working on those kind of like angular shadow shapes.
Yeah.
Because you see those a lot in anime. They just love their angles. Animes
They
love angles, is what I'm
do.
noticing.
They really do. And I'm out
So yeah,
here
just like
with like
I'm out
soft
here.
lines and
Yeah,
like
soft lines, soft shading. I love me like some basic cell shading and then soft shading.
yeah. I
Uh,
need to get better at like blending cell shading and soft shading.
yeah.
Uh like it I've done it before and every time I do it it's like, "Oh, that looks cool."
Right? And then you immediately forget going into your next piece.
Yeah, immediately I'm like, "I'm going to blend everything." No.
No. But yeah, and then here's me fixing up beans, all that line art, making sure that works. I like
This
how I
looks
did
so
the eyes
cool.
in this piece more than I did in the other one, honestly. Probably because they look angrier now, well, whereas before I was trying to go for a more neutral
Mhm.
eye position.
That
And
makes
then
sense.
adding a little bit of blushing just to give like a little bit of color to it, adding some more shading and getting that done on this piece. I did do actual shading in the eye as well this time.
Yeah.
And then I did less lines in the hair this time so that I could fill it in with like more hair shading instead to make it again more dramatic.
Yeah.
And then some shading on the abs because you have to, on the
Mhm.
muscles a little bit
Mhm.
more. And then just like finishing up that, I like how they do it in animes when it's like trying to say that part of the knuckles are bent slightly, is just doing that the way that I did it on the finger where it just like lumped each for each finger. I like that style of
Yeah.
shading. I think it's very like effective to say like, hey, this part of the hand is kind of like curled away or further away than anything else.
Yeah, it gives it more dimension while also being like just economical with the lines.
Yeah. And then
Uh,
here's the part where I
God.
painstakingly color in every single Akuma to make sure that all the colors fit.
What
And
the
then realize, like,
heck?
oh, this piece is actually supposed to be colored like that. That's more of a purpley
Oh no.
color. And then going, like, oh, wait, no, this is supposed to be silver. And that's like gray. This is white. You know, just trying to get everything in for all of the Akuma.
Yeah.
And then doing that with the rest of them. Thankfully, I didn't do like I was originally planning on like, oh, even more Akuma, making it look like somewhere further away than
Hmm.
they were in this one. But then I said, nah, that's too much. We already got a bunch of Akuma. I think it did
Man.
pretty good on the one that's like up close as well.
Yeah.
And then here's me just like blocking out some shading for the Akuma because I didn't want it to be anything too fancy because I'm like, again, this isn't the highlight of Beans' side as well, like Beans is supposed to be. So here's me just throwing down a purple background layer. I do a purple overlay layer on everything that isn't Beans and Salotl to make it kind of retreat in the background. I do this
Yeah.
overlay like crystal layer to give it a bit more dynamics, add some
The
shadow layer,
textures.
and then put my tag side down, try to highlight the axolotl a bit more to make it look like it's glowing, like versus the dark side, like give
Yeah.
that sort of look. And yeah,
That
that's
is
it.
so cool.
I actually went back afterwards because I realized I forgot to put highlights in the eyeballs, which like big picture you don't really notice it, but it bothered me.
I completely understand. I don't even know if Slottle's freckles are visible, but I had to go back. I had to go back and add them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, this is the piece that I put way too much time in.
No, you didn't, because this looks fucking awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, that is so cool.
So yeah, we did an anime.
We are anime now.
We're anime now. We're in the anime verse. And I'm evil.
And
Question mark? I love all of our pieces.
same, same, so much.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching. This isn't my YouTube channel, but I say when we end things.
Yes, and we will end them.
Now, we will end there are links in description for me and also Salotl, I guess.
There will be links on screen and in the description.
Yeah, and we will also be posting a part 2 Electric Boogaloo where you get to see the first art piece that I drew and decided I didn't do enough. But yeah, thanks so much for watching.
Yes.
Bye.